Welcome back everybody to another Pick Your Poison tournament cast. We've got a round 2 series at our hands here between BrownHope and Gold Roger. So this is the round of 8 already in bracket I. We'll see how this one played out. I don't actually know just yet, but hopefully it's going to be another entertaining series just like the last one I just cast. So looking forward to how this one is going to go. Now, again, this is round of 8 already, so both of these players have played a game already that I have cast. If you guys are interested in seeing how they did, you can definitely go back on my Twitch channel, or preferably on my YouTube channel, where there's a playlist titled Pick Your Poison What's, and you can check all the games that I've cast or played myself in the tournament on there in that playlist. I actually will make a command for the playlist tomorrow, and I will link that in Twitch chat since I think that's the obvious thing to do, and I can't believe I didn't do that already. Okay, now though, let's get into this one. Both these guys, obviously, since you know they are in round 2, have won the first matchup that they had in the round of 16 there. Let's check out what seeding they actually both had. Gold Roger with a very impressive 5th seed. Let's put that up here, versus BrownHope, who themselves is the 4th seed actually. So wow, that's kind of really the dream matchup here for round 2. Should be a high quality and competitive game. So let's see how this one goes. Let's get into it then, shall we? Welcome to the map. Game 1, as you guys could hopefully tell by the draft there already, is going to be on Golden Swamp yet again. We love to see it. And we've got Gold Roger playing as Spanish against BrownHope on the Vikings. Love that save as well, you guys. You guys know me at this point. But first, let's focus in on what the Spanish have to offer here. Seed 5 versus Seed 4. This is going to be cool. So, Spanish, actually a civ that kind of has fallen off a bit lately, I think. Hasn't actually had as much success as previously, I don't think. A lot of well-known bonuses there with the faster working builders and Conquistadors, one of the most well-known unique units. But the cool thing from the new patch there in April is the new bonus of blacksmith, or not blacksmith upgrades costing no gold. That is an old bonus. Receive plus 20 gold for each tech research. That is the kicker here. And that opens up so many interesting possibilities for drushes, man-at-arm plays, castle age timings that you otherwise might not be able to hit, because you just don't need as many villagers on gold early on to go for very specific builds. Because you can just do the math, you get 20 golds for every tech you research. You start with 100, so however much gold you need for your play, you can just put in as many techs as you need there. And remember guys, this applies to all the techs. Town Watch, 20 gold. Loom, 20 gold. Double Bidex, 20 gold. So you really, it can stack up quite quickly depending on how heavily you play around this. So it's a bonus I really like, and if people do their prep and get creative with it, could yield some very interesting and entertaining plays. On the other side though, the superior, the ever, well, prosperous, I don't know how many intelligent hype words I can come up with here. It's late, cut me some slack, 10:30 p.m. It's the Vikings on the other side. That's what we're here for, guys. Infantry and naval, so pretty well suited for this patch and this map, I would suppose. Extra HP on the infantry makes their man-at-arms deadly as well. Cheaper docks, super nice on this map. Remember, you don't really want to invest a lot into water, so even having it be cheaper, ideal. I love to see it. No fire ship though. Get out of there. Who's here for the fire ships? We're here for the longboats. That's what we want. But seriously though, we haven't actually seen, especially in low elo games, we haven't actually seen the water peak contested as heavily, so I'm not even sure we're going to see warships, at least not in big numbers. But maybe we are. I'm always open for surprises here. Most well known, of course, the Vikings for the free wheelbarrow and handcart upgrades. amazing upgrades for your eco. Both feudal and castle age, you get amazing eco boosts there. And crucially, you don't need the time in the town center to research them as well. So that's just free time, so to speak, to produce villages. And that other people need to invest into these upgrades. And lastly, Vikings, despite being labeled as an infantry civilization, get fully upgradable Arbalestus minus Thumb Ring. So, pretty good options there as well, especially early on there. You can definitely go into archers or even crossbows, and then go from there. So, two cool civs, really, but kind of feels like just lately the Vikings have been pretty oppressive, as we see them potentially throwing away their scout here, but BrownHope thankfully notices in time. He even puts the 11 here in chat, alright, so... And he's in his head, I assume, and able to get out of there before being taken out. That always sucks on this map, because you really need that scout in order to be able to tell, does the enemy go for water play? Do they go for early military buildings? Are they going for a fast castle? That is really important here, because it's so easy to punish on this map, but only if you know what the other guy is doing. You are relatively close together, it is relatively open at the front, but you need to know what's actually going on. I love the early fishing ships there for BrownHope. It's kind of a trend here. We see those 3 fishing ships there, and just kind of leaving them alone for a while. And he's doing a really good job. I like what he's doing there. Actually making sure there's no dock coming out for the opponent. Let's highlight the vision here, as he's completely scouted this area here, all around the town center, inside the town center even, as we saw, and then all along the coast here. And even scouting the inside coast, because we have seen some players in this tournament actually hiding their docks kind of on the inside Gold Island here. So he's really making sure that he's got that water uncontested and even up quicker to the feudal age. Maybe in part due to the dock going up there and the fishing income boosting the economy, so to speak, a little bit as well. I was kind of hoping for more of a low elo mining camp here, a bit more in between the stone and the gold, a bit further down. Would have loved to see that here. Luckily, or sadly, just a relatively standard gold one. Now, both these guys are still gonna hit feudal age relatively simultaneously, so we could see plays out of both of them. It looks like I'm a bit confused by Gold Roger here, because by the way he's distributing their villages, I would expect a semi-fast castle here. He's actually going fast castle because he's getting the extra gold he needs from the upgrades, as you guys can see. It's going to be up to 120 here in no time. It's looking like a standard fast castle. The thing is, he's not walled at all. I'm not sure that this is legal, guys, as he might be about to get some damage done to his scout. Ooh, a wall would go such a long way. Oh man, that would have been so good had he put maybe just one palisade there. Could have been another town center wally. Either way, gone for galleys now has BrownHope. I'm not sure that's actually necessary. If I don't see the enemy adding any docks, I'm not sure I want to go into galleys. The only reason I would go into galleys is if I was gonna go for archers anyways, and thus I get the fletching tag, right? So I get some extra value on those galleys. But typically not sure I really need the galleys, although maybe that single warship can be a distraction for the enemy, can be annoying and gets you extra map control. Also free scouting, not free scouting obviously, but some scouting, so maybe it's not the worst decision after all. Spanish are going to click up to Castle Age as soon as they get the second building down. I'm not sure they realize they're still lacking it, but judging by the fact that they are heavily on wood right now, I assume they're going to get that sooner rather than later. Now, unfortunately, they just about had the right number of food, but had to queue up more villagers because they didn't have the building up, and now they are actually lacking the food. So it might look like they actually... No, they're just going to force this one through, aren't they? Going to force drop. I don't think they're going to use the market as they lose the scout. I don't think they're going to buy food here. Oh, they bought food. Oh, unfortunate, man. Yeah, you hate to see it. They had such a nice balance on the eco, but just late on the market, meaning the food balance gets thrown off a bit here. So other than that, pretty good fast castle. A 26 villager fast castle is still nothing to scoff at, especially without even utilizing any fish. Thing is, he's completely open. He's got 0 military, 0 fish, 0 map control. he's trying to get to conks, obviously. So he's getting onto stone now. He's trying to get his conquistadors and play around that. Conquistadors great against the infantry, of course, right? I mean, hand cannoneers, they absolutely shred infantry. So if you're expecting infantry from your opponent, that's a great choice. If the opponent goes into archers, your conquistadors get absolutely annihilated, I would expect. Because you're not going to have the numbers necessary to deal with that. Berries run out now as well. It really is a bit of a rough eco here for Gold Roger. He's got 3-4 farms at this point. At least has the horse collar, but really, he's just about able to get by right now up to castle age. Doesn't have a lot of rest to work with there, and not able to drop the immediate castle either. So we'll have to see if he can get to his power spike that he's trying to hit. On the other side, we have not focused on the Vikings at all. They are offloading quite some wood here. Maybe could think about another production building maybe, or a market, just to be able to balance the eco a bit. But as we see Gold Roger buying some more food actually. They are not up to castle age despite the enemy already being there. So BrownHope really playing the extended feudal age and only now arriving at the opponent's base. So I think this is quite late archers. 35 villagers and only now the archers go forward. I think you've let the enemy get away with murder here to some extent. Luckily for you, they haven't walled actually, so you're still able to get in, but the knight is going to take care of business there rather easily. So really, maybe a bit iffy here by both of these guys, but I'm not actually sure either of them is too unhappy with their position right now. Spanish got away with a super greedy fast castle, excuse me. While BrownHope is still the Vikings, still has really decent eco going on, obviously here. If we compare the idle times, it's comparable at least. It's now going to have to start doing some damage though. Because with the second TC going up, and still the Spanish eco is looking rough. It's gonna be really difficult to get to that 2 town center constant villager production for them. But they are on a decent way, and thus BrownHope is going to need to start actually, turning up the pressure a bit here. I think he realizes he's a bit on the back foot and he doesn't really have the military right now to pressure. So looks like he's actually going on the defense here for a while and try to maybe force his way up to castle age and wait until then. Go from there. Seems to be the case. What's really helping him out a ton here is the fishing eco right now, I believe. 3 fishing ships. Again, there's really not that much food in this pond. Let's check out what's the total number of fish. There's only 1800 food left, so you don't want to overinvest into fishing ships. I like the fact that he's not getting baited by the fact his opponent's not making more fish, or making any fish, and add more fish himself. No, he takes it slow with those 3 fish. He's gonna get all of the 1800 food, at least until those fishing ships get cleaned up. But that's gonna be all fine for him, I believe. Now might run into some trouble with the knights, but as we saw, he's already added a few spearmen. If he gets the armor upgrades there, it goes into pikemen. It should be fine for now. It has to be said though that with the enemy approaching castle drop potential here, we've got 700 stone in the bank for the Spanish. We might run into some issues. At this point, it is defensible. Oh no, I don't like this. I was gonna say it is defensible for Gold Roger to look for a forward castle. We've seen this once or twice already in this tournament. The thing is, you really need to assess what you can do with your castle. You got to put it at home if you need to secure your resources. You need to put it in the middle if you can't afford a full-on forward castle, but still want to secure some neutral ground. And you need to put it forward whenever you can afford to. And I think this would be one of those cases where you might be able to afford a forward castle. With a few knights out on the map, maybe another 1 or 2 additional ones, you, I think, would have been able to keep the enemy units at bay. But I might have been misjudging the situation as well, since there's a lot of spearmen out there. Yet I think this is not the greatest option. I think the reason he is doing this is because he's not walled at all and he's still scared of enemy raids. So I can understand the choice. If chieftains come in for the Vikings as well, you don't want to let them raid your villagers for free, right? That's just gold for them, actually, ever since the patch. If you guys recall, they got the bonus check there that they actually get gold for killing enemy villagers with their own infantry. So I can understand a little bit of the paranoia here, so to speak. Still, way too defensive castle for my liking here. But I guess the goal in mind for Roger is still to just get out conquistadors, but he's not started the production yet, so I am slightly confused by the overall approach. Gets forward the knight. I think that's going to be taken out there. Yep, down he goes. Third town center now also added for BrownHope, who has fallen behind in eco numbers a lot. Well, naturally, since being late to Castle Age typically tends to do that to you. Spanish still playing very open though, and as long as they are this open, there's always the potential for Viking raids to come in there. Although if you're going off history, Viking raids in Spain not actually all that successful, and if that's any indication for what's to come, might be looking scary for seed 4 here. Forward with the pikemen now. I mean, it's decent that he at least holds control of this middle island, making sure there's no town centers or castles being dropped, not giving up any ground for free. But he's really got to think about strategies here. He might be checking out the enemy knights' attacks. He's not seen a lot of knights. He's seen there's only the feudal age technologies on the knights so far. So I don't think it's unreasonable to expect conquistadors coming out right now, since you've shown only a few archers, but mainly infantry to the opponent up until this point. Now going to spot the conquistadors, so he's going to know what's up. What's going to be the idea there? BrownHope also admitting in chat that he didn't fully understand the opponent's game plan, so I can understand what the issue might have been there. It's difficult to read sometimes, but completely unwalled, and the Spanish are now trying to pull up some house walls here. But still, they've not got a lot of conquistador numbers now, and I would like to see the Vikings look for some answers now. If you see the opponent is starting to mass conquistadors, you need some unit into that, whichever one you actually like. I don't think, yeah, okay, he's going to go for the elite skirmishers. Fair enough. I don't think that's a terrible choice. And he's now going to get his pikemen potentially cleaned up. He's at least able to keep the conquistadors busy and away from his home, so maybe that is a small victory, in a sense, already. 3 town centers for both, but of course the castle for the Spanish, where their conquistador production is centered. They've not taken control of the map yet, so maybe that's kind of the silver lining there for Gold Roger. He's going to do that now with the castle forward. I was just going to ask when and where he was going to put his. Able to actually now put his archers a little bit forward and push back the conquistadors to some extent. And again, he's only buying himself some time here, but that is good enough. He's doing the attack switch into elite skirmishers, as we've seen, and he's putting forward that castle. So he is at least doing something on the map, which the Spanish are not. They are, on the contrary, though, taking the economy approach and going up to Imp on 70 villagers. Better players have criticized me for going up to Imp always on 70 villagers, so maybe that's not actually the play here. But I gotta say, he has definitely cut some corners here. Fast castle without the walls. Having to use the market then. Now going up to Imp a little bit early. Only 5 conquistadors. Not a lot of army in the field. He is susceptible to pressure and has been at different points of this game already. Forward castle for the Vikings now. At least they are getting some map control out of this. Gotta make sure not to get rolled though by the Spanish Imp here in a second. If the traps start coming out, you need some answer against those. And the Vikings aren't the greatest at taking out enemy trebuchets. Typically, berserks can do that to some extent, but conquistadors will just shred them. So you need some way of pushing away the conquistadors first. Maybe the skirmishers are going to be able to accomplish that. Let's hope for BrownHope that this plan can actually work out fine. He's gonna be seeing his opponent arrive in Imp in a second though, and that might be scary and putting him on some sort of a clock at least. He's going to feel like that, likely, as yeah. He's got no more fish. Let's see. Oh, there's actually 700 fish left here. 1700. Sorry. So didn't actually get that much more out of those. Still, up to Imp now is Gold Roger getting chemistry immediately. He's going to prepare for a push here. that I'm not sure BrownHope's got an answer for, but he's not all out of sorts just yet. He's got a comparable eco, he's got some map control, and he's got the skirmishes already, so he's kind of halfway there to what he needs. And he's actually going to make the decision to force himself up to Imp now as well. I mean, it's not awful, he's got a lot of farms already here. That's 20 farms, it looks like. So, I don't hate the decision to go up to Imp. I would have maybe said try to get some more army out first so you can contest actually, but no, I think if the bombard cannons start coming in, or if the cannon galleons started coming in, obviously no harbors yet, or no docks here, but you get what I'm saying. If the trebuchets start coming out, you need to have actual Imperial Age answers for those, I believe. That's not what you like to see though for the Spanish. Relatively careless there. Luckily for him, no ballistics yet for Hope. But still, those conquistadors looking to get some raiding done. Actually finding some opponents' villages here. Not getting lucky with the accuracy so far. But it looks like he might lose those conquistadors here if he's not paying attention. I'm a bit confused by this. I think he should be trying to get a push going in the middle now. Instead, he's trying to go for a very oddly timed raid and losing a few conquistadors on the way. So he's missed quite a bit of his timing here, I would say. This isn't actually as good as I would have thought, and all the conquistadors are gone. He's actually transitioning into infantry hand cannons now, and that means, of course, just regular hand cannoneers, and putting another defensive castle here. I'm getting a bit of mixed signals here. If you're going to play this defensively, I don't think you need to go up to Imp this early. Could have done the hand cannoneer raids, or the conquistador raids at any point here before this, so not sure I actually love it, but he's getting the trebuchets now. I don't think his army is very big though, and you know the enemy has skirmishers already, so I don't even think you can push with these trebuchets, because all BrownHope needs right now is some infantry to push into the trebuchets once you push away the hand cannoneers with your skirmishers, because these are enough skirmishers to dive the castle. Make no mistake, you can run in there. He has the second armor upgrade, love to see it. He's up to Imp now himself, getting ballistics a little bit late for my liking, but it's doing exactly what I just suggested and pushing forward into the traps now. Now, okay, that's a bit difficult here, tanking up the castle fire with the pikemen first, but the skirmisher numbers are just good enough to actually take out the trebuchets before they are taking out your castle. At least it appears as such, and look at this. Gold Roger has no answer for the skirmishers. He surely would have had to plan for this one. Maybe some mangonels alongside his hand cannoneers to push away the skirmishers. He's using villagers, which is kind of the worst alternative though. So man, I really, he's kind of lacking the foresight there a little bit, and now gonna lose his traps at some point, I feel like. Decent amount of repair villagers there. Good job by BrownHope. I don't think he's going to be losing this castle actually, although he's currently focusing the hand cannoneers instead of the trebuchets, which I think is potentially the wrong call here. I would have preferred actually going for the siege first. If all those 4 trebuchets go up, that might be some trouble for your castle. Still, he's getting a decent trade out of this either way, I feel like. Getting conscription now, which a bit oddly timed, but looks like his trebuchet is starting to hit some shots himself. And this is looking really good all of a sudden for the Vikings. I don't think the Spanish played their timing window perfectly here. And they're losing their precious trebuchets as well. They don't have any more in queue, and they're kind of just throwing their hand. They are losing tons of gold in this trade. Man, it was really some sort of a turning point here, I feel like. Because, oh man, I don't see actually what the play at this point is for the Spanish. Not saying it's all over. I mean, just go into some mangonels here maybe, but he's not actually doing that. He's got a knight out still, and he's actually going into elite skirmishers now for some reason. I'm not sure what he's looking to counter with that. Gets another castle foundation up here in the front. And for the Vikings, I love the skirmishers. He's making more, so good choice there. Definitely making sure the hand cannons are not going to overwhelm him. But I would have liked to see him mix in some infantry in the process, though. Could have gone for some champions, even some berserks, I guess, would have been fine-ish. I just think you need some unit to raid with or to kill enemy siege with. And now that you see the skirmishers, you definitely need a unit to kill the skirmishers with. understandable. I guess the reserves were the better trained soldiers after all. Yeah. Okay, we've got the new troops. They are fresh out of the 3D printers, ready to ravage the enemy. Kind of weird. Okay, both these guys haven't traded their armies all that great yet, but overall, it's still been momentum-wise a victory for BrownHope so far. He's up 10 population on the enemy. Both are on 120 villages-ish. Not convinced by Gold Roger's army compositions mainly this far. Out come the Berserks, and I mean, they're not too great against projectile units. If you check the armor, they only have one basic pierce armor, but it's good enough to run in there because they are relatively fast. I don't think he's got squires yet, actually, or does he? Maybe I'm just used to Berserks being a little bit faster, I think, so maybe squires is actually still missing, which would be pretty big. He's doing some good damage there, though, now. He's taking out the siege. And as you can see, you don't need the greatest counter units as skirmishers, you just need anything that does damage to them. And Berserk's fine in order to accomplish that. Now again, I guess, well, just one Conquistador. It really looks like Gold Roger is uncertain as to what his play is at this point. I feel like if the opponent has this many skirmishers, you need mangonels. You could also go knights, I guess. But just making more skirmishers and gunpowder units yourself is probably not the actual best way to go with. And both of these guys looking to take a breather here for a minute. It looks BrownHope actually still made another 10 villages here, so his eco is looking great. He's still Vikings after all, but he keeps sending more army forwards as well. He's stocking up on trebuchets for now. He's got a ton of skirmishers in the field and even a few berserks with more coming, just to make sure he's got an answer for the enemy siege as well. At this point, I feel like you could start raiding as a Viking. You've got a good enough eco that you can just maybe every other minute send out a group of 10 berserks around the east side and then another one around the west side. Get into the enemy's eco. You kind of know that he's not fully walled at least. And even if he's walled, at least worth checking it out. I think that's what's kind of missing here, because at this point you gotta expect the opponent has some type of answer for your unit comp. You've given him enough time to kind of adapt and make some more army. So I think pulling them apart a little bit, spreading out your forces could have been a good choice here. Luckily for him, Gold Roger hasn't actually diversified his army comp really at all, just has gone for more traps and skirms, and thus I think this is going to be a losing battle for him, at least for this castle. And BrownHope is going to slowly start rolling on forward, potentially trying to break into the enemy base. Looks really like Gold Roger's a bit out of sorts here. Now, by losing this castle, actually getting housed as well, it's not gone too great for them so far. That siege workshop really just there's decoration, it looks like, maybe as a wall. But right about now, that one's looking real juicy. There's the 10 berserks maybe around the side, I don't know. Looks like he's just trying to clean up the enemy skirmishes though. And there we go, chieftains coming in for BrownHope. Love to see it. That's bonus damage against cavalry, and that's the gold bonus from the raiding that you're about to do here in his chieftains, and you can already see 10 gold from those villager kills. For the Vikings, love to see it. Man, that's such a beautiful civ, I can't lie. In come the trebuchets, and still no adequate answer there for Gold Roger. Actually, no, never mind. He's gone into hussars. That is a viable option against trebuchets and against skirmishers. Not against berserks, but against those, I guess your skirmishers at least do some damage. Trebuchets have already gone up, so Gold Roger really running out of time here. His eco is still great though, so it's not like he's all done. If you can do some damage to the opponent's army here, use your mobility. You gotta kite around with the light cav, come in from the other side. He's sort of doing that right now. He's actually going for the skirmishers first. I don't think he's gonna have the damage here. He's lost the castle already. And again, the switch was just way too late here for it to make a difference. He actually has to call it. Congrats to BrownHope for this game 1 victory here. Man, that was tenacious here. Got a bit scared for him there in Castle Age when the opponent was up that much quicker, and he didn't punish the greedy fast castle at all. But Gold Roger missing his timings here for, as far as I'm concerned, and not with coming in with the correct army type reactions either. So BrownHope able to actually outmuscle him here in some ways. Maybe outsmart him as well in some regards in the end there, but outlast him in the end. And thus he goes up 1-0 in the series. And promising start here. Let's see if these two closely matched players, both in terms of skill probably and in terms of seeding here, can present us with a nice 3-game series here. Let's check out the draft again. What are we in for? The opponent, which is Rocks, has chosen Arena as their home map. Well, I can't say that I'm excited for this. You guys know I'm a straight shooter. It's not like gonna get fake hyped here, so don't want to watch a 2-hour game. But if it's a nice, interesting, quick one, could still be cool. I'm not an arena lover for sure, but always loving to see what people pull out on it if they get a bit creative. So hoping for that definitely. And BrownHope up 1-0 in the series has a chance to close it out here on the opponent's home map. But Gold Roger is going to try and put up the best fight he can in order to extend the series to a decider game. So then let's find out how this one goes, shall we? Into game 2 we go on Arena as promised. Saracens versus Dravidians. Alright, maybe to some extent some obscure civs here as I load up the info for both. I assume we're gonna have enough time to talk about what's actually what's actually to expect here. Okay, let's see what they got in store. So maybe just starting right here on the bottom side of the map, we've got BrownHope, who's up 1-0 in the series, playing as the Saracens. We've seen them a couple times, and actually on Arena as well. They've got a few things going for them. General strong camels with the extra HP that you can even stock up there in Castle Age with Zealotry. And there's much more to the Civ, however. Right, the naval bonuses now kind of put aside. The market is really what the Civ is most famous for, and I think if you've put in a bit of time here practicing some builds, they can really go into some very smooth, fast castle boom transitions that not a lot of other Civs might necessarily be able to hit. At least on this level of play, I feel like it should be decently easy to practice that and get out to a good start. So we will see what BrownHope or how comfortable he might be on these guys. Good enough though. Extra attack on the Mangonel line. We always love to see that, right? I mean, we are some Mangonel enjoyers in this chat, that's for sure. On the other side though, Civ that we've seen maybe once or twice in Pick Your Poison, it's the Dravidians for Gold Roger. Again, the naval bonuses are out of the question here, but still a very interesting Civ in that they, mainly what I like about them is have that 200 wood bonus whenever you get to the next age. Now that typically provides for interesting opportunities to make military pushes or maybe get additional warships or docks out. Depending on the map, you can really use this bonus rather versatile. On Arena, maybe the options aren't as plentiful, but it definitely is going to help getting out that fast castle. 200 wood when trying to get a fast castle is basically one of your age up buildings for free. And then again, in Castle Age, it helps you drop more town centers. So it's not nothing, right? It still helps you boom up a little bit. And if you want to get real crazy, you might also want to use that for different types of plays. But I think that is just the obvious option there that it really could help you out with. Other than that, not sure they've got a lot of important stuff here. The cheaper barracks technologies, I mean, I guess they have it. Don't see that really being a huge factor in Imp. So, yeah, as the chat is kind of splitting here in terms of their favor. Some people would want to see a game 3 here. Other people would want to see themselves advancing to the next round of the tournament. Whoever would win here, remember, is one of the first guys to actually go into the round of 4 And I think the very first one was probably the winner of my series against Noob. So if you haven't watched that, maybe that probably was the first series that actually had the winner go into the round of 4, into the semifinals of their bracket. But well, of course, excluding the higher brackets. Very possible that in higher brackets somebody has already played that set. Main point being, whoever wins this is already very deep and has a real shot at winning their bracket, and thus some juicy cash prizes. Alright, enough of that Civ info, I believe. Both of these guys at 19 villages. We have the Saracens with a bit higher idle TC time so far. It is understandable though, because they did invest the APM into deleting the back walls, so at least mainly, right? This kind of reminds me of the Berlin Wall. I guess you can tell I've been to Berlin recently, but you know, this is kind of a fragment of an older time, not really serving any purpose, but just reminding the people of the partition that once was here, though it doesn't really look as consequential as the Berlin one does, but don't want to judge, really. It's all about memory. On the other side, Dravidians with the less idle TC time, maybe, just maybe, they're in a bit of a smoother spot here, but it's really hard to tell, right? Overall, both these guys should be happy with what they got. And we've got the deer being taken a little bit far outside for my liking. Not the greatest efficiency on those, but it looks like they are mainly consumed at this point. On the other side, looks like Brown did maybe a bit of a more thorough job with his pushing of the deer. Doesn't look like he's got any left around. Let's check out the scouting, maybe. It's a good opportunity to do that. Sadly, yeah, there we go. Relics not all discovered yet. Looks like Brown has found those two. Overall, I think he should be happy though. He's got under this bottom left corner where most of the relics gravitate to. Sadly, he's not aware of that just yet. On the other side, Gold Roger. He's done maybe bit of a... I'm not sure I would call this a better job scouting, but he's now found the third relic as well, and maybe it's gonna alter his strategy a bit, because it really doesn't look like he's got a lot of relics on his side. And on Arena, there's always different options early on, right? You can definitely go for the... Oh, I'm sorry, I completely missed this, but Roger must have lost a unit to the boar lure there. Good attention there in chat, as I was just rambling again. Yeah, whatever I wanted to say was, yeah, there's different set of strategies that you can go for on Arena. Some people like to go for immediate castle drops, pushing with their castles. Some people love to heavily contest the relics. Other people just want to drop as many town centers as possible, maybe only contest the middle with some outposts. So there's levels to this, and it looks like so far we can't really tell what these guys are into, and just barely Roger turns around, not going to get a scout trapped. Good attention there, and BrownHope is going to be up to Castle Age rather soon, actually using his bonus wood saved from the market for getting a barracks in there, which would indicate to me that he might be looking to actually contest the relics first and foremost. Having the barracks will allow you to make some spearmen there. And otherwise, if I'm just going for a quick castle drop, for example, I might go for this blacksmith instead of the barracks plus stable. Both of them are up to Castle Age now. Alright, Dravidian's just a tad faster there, and has the double pit axe already as well. Eco upgrades coming on both sides now though, and I really wonder, are we gonna see some early action here? What's the angle for these folks? We've got blacksmith market, of course, for the Dravidians here, but now adding the barracks as well. So maybe they too are looking to grab some spearmen on the way up and start getting involved with the relic wars. So they are now camping one of these. Have they found all 5 of them? They have not. Okay, they have found all of them, but the one that's closest to their own base, quite unfortunately. Let's see if they'll play for the western ones though. On the other side, the Saracens. Okay, now they've... Oh, are you kidding? They don't see either of these two. Oh, BrownHope. Oh, how unfortunate is this? Oh, okay, he's got it now. Man, that was pretty hilarious. Okay, I really want to see some nice relic wars. That's kind of my favorite opening on Arena, because there you can micro a bit with your spearmen, with your light cav, with your monks. It's 3 different sets of unit that you're usually gonna have around, and it's not high numbers, so you can really kind of show off if you've got the army control down, which I don't most of the time, but oh well. That's why this map is banned whenever possible. Hey, these guys might be better at that than me though, and Stable as well as Monastery already out for both of them. First skirmish is breaking out. Not going too well for BrownHope here in the south, and he's gonna have to retreat for the time being. Brings over his spearmen though. Looks like he's on the map a little bit faster than his opponent has been. Brings over the fresh scout too, and so far map control lies with the Saracens, who, remember, are in the comfortable position of being able to drop this game if worst comes to worst. And actually the Dravidians here, Gold Roger, the one with the back against the wall, needing to get this victory in order to stay alive in the tournament. Very optimistically sending out the monk for now. Actually, probably BrownHope expecting right here the first monk to go to the east. Little does he know that Gold Roger hasn't even spotted that relic. Yeah, finds out now about the spearman still chilling nearby here. So the early monk here really optimistic in the sense that he doesn't have the map control in order to actually afford to take the relic. If only he knew that Gaia is kind of helping him out right here. Oh man. Oh, if only he knew, he would have joined in there in a heartbeat, I bet. But Spearman actually taken out. Oh, and is he gonna convert the low HP Spearman? He might just, but yeah, BrownHope just deletes it at this point. Fair enough, I guess. Now the next one is a danger though, and oh, it might not turn out too great for him actually. He's kind of being pushed off the relic. Brings in the scout though, and I gotta question Gold Roger's choice not to bring any spearmen along. He's not even made any yet. Loses both these monks for nothing really. He hasn't even brought the relics closer to home yet. So I really wonder what the thought process is there. Did he think he could just get away without any spearmen? Just only made monks, and that typically doesn't go well, especially when you know the enemy has the scout around. So yeah, good punish, I suppose, by BrownHope, who himself has already been able to grab 2 of these relics, is going to start taking more. Decent start here for the favorite, I suppose, since he's already up 1-0, and slightly higher seed and name, at least. Man, he's got to like what he's seen so far. Both of these guys on 2 town centers, idle TC times, though way better for Gold Roger. Man, it's not easy, honestly, to get to fast castle, double TC, and still only have 11 seconds of idle time. This is some really good booming there, can't lie. And you can see he's not drowning in food exactly, right? So he's managing that eco really well. At least on that front I can agree, and that's probably why he made no spearman, right? He wanted to make sure to always have the villager production running, but he paid a hefty price for that. Now, with some better micro, he's going for the 2v1 on the spearman and converting the other one, but I'm not sure that's going to be enough to actually get the relic, since there's still that scout around. And yeah, he kind of got jib-baited a little bit, and the scout is even going to escape here. Man, the trades have just not at all been in favor of the Dravidians so far. Spearman out a bit late and yet not able to kind of secure their goal here. And 4 relics have already been given up and transferred into the bank account here of Great BrownHope, who only has that 1 left to worry about. I'm not even sure he's going to go and hard commit for that one. Lots of gold already in the bank for him, and that's not going to change with the amount of relics that he's got. And yet, a 30C has come out for the Dravidians, maybe realizing that they're not going to win this battle in the middle. Oh man, nicely kited out there actually by the Saracens. And now finally loses that scout. Could still lose this fight. if the switch comes into the other spearman. Doesn't switch targets though, and so BrownHope is going to win this spearman war in the middle. Not that it's terribly consequential at this point, but again, it just goes to show that he tends to win out in these micro trades. 3 T's up for both these guys, comparable villager numbers still, and I'll take the Saracen side of this every time, honestly. I feel like most of the Dravidian's power has kind of faded by this point. The wood bonus not as impressive anymore, and yeah, the early angle they had with their barracks not really paying off as much. Not sure this is the point to attack at. Either way, maybe he's not quite sure either actually right now what the way to go is. Puts up more barracks though, so maybe going into infantry for now. It's gonna be his MO. While I guess, I mean, BrownHope, he can just sit and wait for a while, right? I feel like he's in a fine spot to just play it out for a while. He's also got those 3 town centers, so he's not worried about his eco, I don't think. And he's not seen what the enemy is gonna do so far, right? So maybe just wait that out and see what they commit for and try to go from that in terms of what you need. I would like to see BrownHope take some map control at this point, maybe. Right, so if you're gonna play the more defensive, passive part, since you can probably think you can get away with it at this point, maybe secure your flanks just a little bit, some outposts maybe. If you not want to go for an outdoors castle, fine, but I think maybe a castle here at your first extra gold could be good, and then some outposts nearby, just so you know whenever something's going on. BrownHope instead gonna... No, he's not gonna go for an early imp, is he? Gold Roger is on the way to imp with 68 villagers and no military in the field to speak of. Maybe he's got a concrete plan. He's put up a lot of military production buildings. Well, I mean, not a lot for arena standards, but he's put some up at least. So maybe he wants to make the early arena or the early Imperial Age push happen here. On the other side, BrownHope also goes for an imp earlier than I actually had expected. I wonder what prompted him to do this. If he's got anything specific in mind as well. Still, he's actually going for archery ranges right now. Interesting choice there. So we'll keep an eye on what exactly both players are opting for here. Villager comes out actually for Gold Roger, maybe looking for some outposts, but actually I rather think he might be trying to get some production buildings out on the map. Not looking good for him though. He's again losing out in the micro trades here. And not that this changes a whole lot, but it's just a worrying trend, so to speak. Actually was trying to get the outpost down on the opponent, and nice castle there. I did think this was a good spot, and BrownHope rather agreeing there with me apparently. So like to see that. Silver Python says in chat, props to the advance of the tournament. That's the sentiment I again want to echo. Daniela has been putting in ludicrous amounts of work over the last couple of weeks. Going from casting the Admirals League as the main caster straight into this basically as the main organizer here, I believe. And the amount of time she invests besides even streaming every day as well. And her day job is pretty impressive. So yeah, gotta give it up for her. And of course I don't want to belittle the influence of all the other guys that work on this. Who I'm not as familiar with though, so apologies for that. Castle comes out now for Gold Roger as well, but it's also more so just consolidating his position right now. Not sure that is the play. I was more so expecting a real early Castle Age push in after dropping all these barracks and getting. He's actually getting crossbowmen now, which I was not expecting. It was actually BrownHope who dropped the archery ranges earlier, but he's not gone into crossbows yet. So both of these guys are really keeping us guessing here with what's gonna go down. At least they're going into military stuff now, so it might get interesting soon here. No diss to the game up until this point, but I mean, let's be honest, guys. It's not like I'm I can just say I speak my mind here. It's not like I gotta satisfy sponsors. I can just call it an arena game when I see an arena game. And the forward monk is finally spoken his last prayer, it would seem. And that was actually pretty good here. Like, giving up that monk for the info that your opponent is now going crossbowman, that trade I'll take any day of the week. And BrownHope immediately drawing consequences, going into skirmishes, checking the archer armor. He will take that. That was actually super good for him. Man. Alright. We'll see. We'll see how this turns out. If we see the crossbowmen into the skirmishes, that's obviously gonna turn out horrible for Gold Roger. And chat now thinking that maybe the Dravidians late game into Mars Elephants could be pretty scary here. So BrownHope potentially on a timer there. We'll see if that ends up coming true. Skirmishes now also tagged for the right-hand side player. And again, if we see a skirmisher versus skirmisher war again, I'm probably gonna lose my mind. Let's see, however, what it ends up being in the end. Another castle dropped. Alright, securing our flanks. Getting more production buildings also, actually, in case we want to actually go for that, but still, just having the defenses on both sides is also pretty reasonable. Like the forward production buildings here, whereas Gold Roger is just dropping houses so far. He doesn't really have the wood, actually, to drop those buildings. Both ecos are not fully boomed up just yet, but I don't know why, it just looks like BrownHope has got a little bit more in store for us. Let's check the total resources collected and see if there's some sort of discrepancy. BrownHope up by about 2,000, so it's a mild difference up until this point. Even able to arrest the enemy's defensive castle here. Bombard cannons now coming up for Dravidians as well. Well, this is gonna take a while though. Bombard cannons not too accurate here, with the ever rotating spearmen chasing down your villager. Alright, that castle, I guess it's gonna slowly but surely go up, but man, this is a difficult endeavor that didn't really need to be this awkward. Again, we see unprotected traps though, which is something that's become kind of a running theme in this tournament. The crossbowmen just aren't great against the skirmishers, but maybe if he's able to snipe the enemy hand cannoneers, that could be good. He's taken terrible trades so far though. Oh man, Gold Roger really getting caught off guard here, and just with a very unfortunate opening strategy here, going into those crossbowmen, it's not done him any favors. Those are gone. At least he's still got a few skirmishes. I mean, skirmishes into hand cannons and skirmishes. I guess the composition is okay-ish. Another very ambitious castle though, and I mean, that seems to be his style here, kind of trying to slowly inch forward onto the map with castles. He's really not got anything to back it up though. Those trebuchets aren't even firing at anything right now. I mean, look at this. This is I mean, it's fine, you can use trebuchets against skirmishers and whatever you want, but if you're being pushed and just have to yield ground, those trebuchets are just gonna get caught out as well. See that bomber cannon 10 times more effective in these types of skirmishes. And this is a great start to the Imperial Age for BrownHope. He's currently housed as well, but it's probably the least of his worries. He's totally crushing it on the military front here. And Gold Roger, again, it's very similar to the last game, where he's in a fine spot eco-wise, a really good one actually, and he needs to just find the correct answers here. Again, skirmishes is okay if the enemy is going into some gunpowder, I feel. You need something against those bombard cannons, whether that is... not sure actually what the best option is for Dravidians. I'm not too familiar there. I don't want to just talk for some random stuff that I don't know about. Maybe just regular light cav or something could do it. I'm not sure. Point being, you need to adapt a little bit here. Some skirmishes, but maybe some mangonels again could be fine. I'm not entirely sure what the best option is, but there's got to be better options than just trebuchets and castles, because those are very much temporary, and that's quite a few enemy bombard cannons, absolutely obliterating everything you've got right now. Finally, the elephants start coming out. Bit late there, I can't lie, but I don't think that's the correct answer for the enemy team composition or army composition either. He's yielded a lot of ground already, and again, it's taken him longer than he probably can afford to, if in order to get to those military responses. I don't even think it's the correct ones in this instance. He's also not researched all the eco upgrades there. Also making a slight difference here. Not even having the heavy plow just yet. And look at the archers, I think they're all gonna go down here. I don't like this trade for him. We can compare the health bars at the bottom left, and you see both of these groups now losing quite a few numbers, but it is way better for BrownHope here. And he just takes the series victory off of this. Honestly, not a lot to say about this. It's just been a long way coming here in both of these games. Kind of Roger not on the not quite sure how to push his advantages, I would say. Maybe not sure how to hit his timings. Again, I'm not the most familiar with Dravidians in this case, but I feel like he just again went early imp as well, and then opened with a very strange army composition, took a long time to adapt, and his push wasn't coordinated all that great, just opening up with traps and then having no answer once those skirmishes come forward. Was a rough look for him. Poor guy. Sadly, he's gonna be out of the tournament at this stage here, leaving at the round of 8. But nonetheless, I mean, had a fine little run here. Still was able to win that one round, so I hope he's had fun. BrownHope gets to continue to play here though, so happy for him. He's moving on to the round of 4, so semi-finals next week for him. Let's see how he continues to do in this tournament. But for now, 11:30. That's time for me to call it today. It's been a lot of chatter here going on. Love to see active participation here in chat, as always. So yeah, always nice to see, and hope everybody enjoyed their time as well. Fine then. That's gonna be it from me. I'll be back. Yeah, I think pretty much definitely I'll be back tomorrow evening with another casting stream. Hopefully 2 series. Maybe I'll only be able to do 1. We'll see. However much time I have. Until then, yeah, keep following this tournament and give some love to the other guys also. Yeah, running the show and everything. Good seeing everybody, and yeah, catch you tomorrow.